Y'all, stop whatever you're doing because this one right here is about to blow your mind. You thought hip-hop drama couldn't get any messier? Well, guess what? Jim Jones just got himself caught up in a scandal so wild it makes. Tekashi's rainbow hair looked like a church choir wig, and hold up Chrissy Lampkin. Yeah, Miss Redordai misproposed to my man on national TV. She finally broke her silence, and let me tell you, the streets are buzzing louder than a Bluetooth speaker in a barbershop. But wait, how did we even get here? How does one of Harlem's most respected rap legends end up in cuffs again, with the feds breathing down his neck like it's an episode of Power? And why does Chrissy sound like she's either ready to burn the whole courthouse, down or write a self-help book called How to Love a Man Who Stays in Trouble? Questions on top of questions, y'all. Was this a setup? Was this karma? Or was this just Jim being Jim, living fast, rapping harder, and making choices that got him one step away from Rikers Island? Buckle up, because this story is about to get crazier than a love and hip-hop reunion special. Alright, let's dive straight in, because the mess surrounding Jim Jones right now is not just messy. It is the type of scandal that keeps getting thicker with every new piece of information that drops. And the truth is, nobody expected things to spiral this fast. But then again, when you live the kind of lifestyle Jimmy has lived, with one foot in the rap game and the other somewhere in the shadows of Harlem street politics, it was only a matter of time before something major went down. And now that it finally has, it feels like the whole industry is watching with popcorn in hand, waiting to see what happens next, because the feds do not just wake up one morning and say, hey, let's go grab Jim Jones. They watch, they listen, they build a case, and then they strike when the timing is perfect. And that is exactly what seems to have happened here. And trust me, it is not looking good, because the charges they are talking about are not small-time charges. These are heavyweight accusations, the type that end careers and ruin reputations and possibly lock people away for decades. And the real kicker is Chrissy Lampkin, who has been by Jim's side through everything, who literally put her heart on the line for him on national television, is now caught in the storm of it all, because the world wants to know how she is handling it and whether she is standing tall or ready to walk away. And you better believe her every word and every move is being analyzed like it is evidence in the case itself. The way the story begins is almost cinematic. Imagine the flashing lights, the cops pulling up, the tension rising in the air. Jim sitting in the backseat, calm, but maybe deep down knowing this was bound to happen sooner or later, because you do not dodge the feds forever. And when they come for you, it is not a courtesy call. It is a takedown now. Reports say the car he was riding in tried to evade the police, leading to a brief chase. And when the car was finally stopped, deputies say they smelled marijuana so strong they could catch the scent before they even noticed the weaving on the road. And once they searched the vehicle, it was like opening Pandora's box. Drugs, pills, cash, and guns, one of them allegedly stolen suddenly. This was not just about a traffic stop. This was about a rapper caught red-handed in a situation that screams criminal conspiracy. And the irony is that for years, people have whispered about Jim's connections, about him being more than just a rapper and more than just Dipset's capo. But when whispers turn into wiretaps and files stacked in federal offices, it is no longer a rumor, it is a case file. Now, let's be real, this is not Jim's first dance with law enforcement. Back in 2018, he was busted in Georgia after a chase, and they found drugs and weapons in that car too. And though he managed to escape with a plea deal back then, everybody said the same thing, that his luck would not last forever, because you can play with state courts, you can charm a local judge, you can spin it as a misunderstanding, but when the feds have your name circled in red ink, they do not let go easily. They wait and they build, and when they feel like the timing is right, they make their move. And that is exactly what this feels like a move that has been in the making for over a year, with sources claiming Jim was under surveillance, that wiretaps were involved, that informants might have been talking. And if history has shown us anything in hip-hop cases, it is that when the feds roll out RICO-style charges, they already know more than you think they know. But the piece that really grabs attention here is Chrissy Lampkin, because she has been quiet, but not too quiet in that dangerous way, where you know she is processing everything behind the scenes and making her own moves before saying anything public. And finally, when she did break her silence, it was not with a rant or a denial, but with something cryptic, something about standing by the ones you love through the storm, which of course has been picked apart by fans and haters alike. Some calling it proof she is the ultimate ride or die, and others saying it's just her way of coping with the reality that her man might be looking at serious time. Either way, it added fuel to the fire and made this story more than just about Jim Jones, the rapper. This is about Jim and Chrissy, the couple, the love and hip-hop staples, the on-again, off-again roller coaster that has kept audiences hooked for over a decade. And now here they are once again center stage, only this time the stakes are way higher than reality TV ratings. What makes this situation even more gripping is the pattern we keep seeing in hip-hop every time a rapper gets taken down in a big case. The first question everyone asks is who snitched, because in that world, snitching is worse than the crime itself. And already people are pointing fingers, speculating that someone in Jim's inner circle flipped because the feds do not pull charges like racketeering and money laundering out of thin air. They rely on evidence, they rely on testimony, and they rely on betrayal. And if history repeats itself, then someone close to Jim may have decided their own freedom was worth more than loyalty to the capo, and that possibility adds a whole new layer of drama to the story. Now, when we talk about the evidence, we have to talk about the money, because Jim has dipped his hands into a lot of business ventures over the years, from real estate to fashion to even crypto. And while on the surface, that sounds like a hustler making smart moves, the feds tend to dig deeper. And if they find even one irregularity in the money trail, if the numbers do not add up, if property deals look suspicious or crypto transactions look like laundering, then they pounce. And given the charges being whispered about, it looks like the paper trail may not be lining up the way Jim would want it to line up. And if that is the case, then this goes beyond drugs and weapons. This becomes about financial crimes. And when you are up against financial crimes, you are up against a system that rarely loses. The last thing to mention before we pause is the mugshot, because when Jim's booking photo hit the internet, people expected panic, anger, maybe defeat, but instead he looked calm, almost smug, like he had seen this day coming and was ready to face it. And that look has sparked endless debates. Some say it is confidence, because he has lawyers ready to fight. Some say it is arrogance, because he thinks he can beat the feds. And others say it is just the mask of a man who knows his life is about to change forever, but does not want to give the world the satisfaction of seeing him break. The reality, though, is that the feds rarely make mistakes when they launch a case of this scale. So while fans may argue in conspiracy theories may swirl, the cold, hard truth is that Jim Jones is staring at a fight that could define the rest of his life. And whether Chrissy stays glued to his side or decides the storm is too heavy to weather together, it's another subplot of this drama that keeps audiences hooked. Because what people want almost as much as the verdict as the love story is, she's staying, is she leaving? Will she testify? Will she become the face of loyalty or the face of disillusion? And until the answers reveal themselves, the speculation will only grow louder. The storm surrounding Jim Jones is reaching a fever pitch, and as the dust settles, everyone is asking the same question: what happens next? Because once the feds are involved and the charges include racketeering, money laundering, and drug possession, this is no longer a story that plays out over a weekend. This is a saga that could span years in courtrooms and headlines, and every move that Jim makes from here on out will be scrutinized like it is under a microscope. And at the center of it all, Chrissy Lampkin's role has never been more critical, because people are watching to see if she will stand by him as she has in the past, or if the weight of the scandal will force her to step back and make decisions that could change her own public image forever. And when you add the layers of speculation about whether someone close to Jim fed information to the authorities, or Whether these charges are entirely the result of federal surveillance, it becomes clear that this situation is not just about a single arrest. It is about power alliances, betrayal, and the fragile line between loyalty and self-preservation in the world of hip-hop. The courtroom drama that is looming promises to be as intense as any plotline fans have watched on television, because when RICO-style charges are on the table, you are not just looking at months, you are looking at years of investigation, witness testimony, and paper trails so convoluted that even seasoned attorneys have to double-check every line to make. Sure, nothing is overlooked, and the ripple effect is already being felt with insiders in the industry whispering about who might get called in to testify, who might see their business ventures examined, and who might have their reputations dragged through the mud simply because they were associated with Jim Jones at one point. And this is exactly the kind of situation that makes headlines go viral, because it is about fame, power, loyalty, and the consequences when all of them collide in a single explosive event. And as each day passes, the anticipation grows as fans and critics alike wait to see if this is going to be a trial that shakes the industry, or just another celebrity scandal that fades into internet memory. Social media continues to amplify the chaos, with theories ranging from Jim plotting an ultimate comeback to Chrissy secretly negotiating a strategy that could save him from the harshest penalties, and every leak, every unnamed source, every post, and every like is dissected and analyzed as if it were evidence in the case itself. Because in today's world, public perception often weighs as heavily as legal reality, and the combination of personal drama and criminal allegations has made this story irresistible to audiences who thrive on controversy and scandal. And while the truth is still unfolding, people are already predicting outcomes, from plea deals to full trials, and even imagining scenarios where multiple high-profile figures could be implicated once the federal investigation digs deeper and the questions continue to pile up like dominoes ready to fall. The financial side of the investigation is particularly fascinating, because the feds reportedly have eyes on business deals that span real estate, fashion lines, and cryptocurrency ventures. And while many of these projects seemed legitimate on the surface, the whisper suggests that there were transactions and patterns that looked suspicious enough to draw serious attention. And when money trails are involved, nothing is ever simple, because federal prosecutors can follow the paper until it leads to someone who can testify or evidence that could prove wrongdoing. And this adds a layer of tension, because anyone connected to Jim's ventures has to consider the possibility that their own activities might be scrutinized, and that is exactly the kind of pressure that makes insiders nervous and fans obsessed with every tiny development, as if piecing together a puzzle that could reveal who else is in trouble. Meanwhile, the mugshot that went viral continues to be the subject of endless debate, because Jim Jones looked composed, almost eerily calm, and that expression has people wondering whether it is confidence born of legal preparation, arrogance born of bravado, or a mask that hides the fear and uncertainty beneath the surface. And in celebrity culture, that moment captured by a camera can define public perception for years to come. And as people analyze the way he posed, how he looked at the lens, and even how he dressed, the conversation becomes about more than just an arrest. It becomes a lesson in image management and street credibility, and whether that calm exterior will hold once the trial begins is yet another question hanging over this entire saga and keeping audiences hooked. Industry connections are another wild card, because Jim is not just an isolated figure. He is deeply entwined with a network of artists, producers, and business people who have all at one point collaborated with him or relied on his influence. And when one person in a network faces serious federal charges, it is almost inevitable that investigators will examine those connections, looking for patterns of illegal activity. And that means friends, associates, and partners are suddenly under a microscope, whether they wanted to be or not. And the ripple effect could be massive as the investigation unfolds and public curiosity continues to fuel rumors about replicated and schemes, real or imagined. And that is the kind of suspense that drives engagement and keeps headlines trending. All the while, Chrissy's narrative is being closely followed because her loyalty. Her silence and her statements are being interpreted as either strategy or emotion, and every move she makes could sway public opinion or even the legal perception of Jim's character. And in high-profile cases, personal relationships are not just gossip. They are part of the story that can influence how the public and even jurors see the accused. And as Chrissy navigates this treacherous landscape, people are asking themselves if her support will strengthen Jim's position in court, or whether the weight of the situation might eventually force her to make difficult choices that redefine their relationship in the public eye and add another layer of drama to an already explosive situation. At the heart of it all, the entire saga is a collision of fame, power, loyalty, betrayal, and consequences, because when a figure like Jim Jones is faced with federal charges, everything around him feels magnified, from his business dealings to his friendships to his public image, and every decision has implications. Not just for him, but for everyone connected to him. And as we watch this story unfold, we are reminded that in the world of celebrity, crime, drama, nothing is ever as simple as it seems, and every new detail only raises more questions than answers, leaving audiences glued to the story, waiting for the next twist to drop and for the truth to reveal whether this will end in redemption, downfall, or something even more shocking. All right, y'all, now that we've laid out everything from Jim Jones' arrest to Chrissy Lampkin's cryptic silence, it's time to face the hard questions and get real with ourselves, because this story is far from over, and every detail we've talked about could change in a heartbeat. And that is exactly why you need to stay tuned and engaged, because the moment you blink, you might miss a development that could flip the entire narrative upside down. And ask yourself, who do you believe is really behind all this? Is Jim a victim of circumstance, or is there someone close to him feeding information to the feds? And how loyal is Chrissy really when the stakes are this high? And will she stand by him through the fire, or will the pressure force a crack in their relationship? And we want to hear your thoughts, because this isn't just about watching a story unfold. It's about being part of the conversation and weighing in on every twist and turn. So drop your comments below. Tell us what you think about Jim's chances in court, who you think might get pulled into this mess next, and how you see Chrissy playing her hand in all of this. And don't forget to smash that like button if you want us to keep digging deeper, bringing you all the wildest updates, and subscribe for more breaking truths, because trust me, you do not want to miss a single second of this drama unfolding right before our eyes. The story is still writing itself, and you need to be here when the next shocking chapter drops.